Hi there, this is Jen, and thanks so much for stopping by today. Today I have a fun Christmas mixed media card, and I am going to be using some Fairy Hugs products. And the stamps that I'm going to use today, this one is called Fairy Poem, and then I'm going to use the Poinsettia. And I am using a piece of watercolor cardstock. I have cut it down to 5.5 by 5.5. And I've also created a mask using a die from my stash. And so I'm going to go ahead and grab the positive portion of the mask and add that to the corner of my watercolor cardstock. And then I'm going to take this bubble stencil from Fairy Hugs, and I'm going to use my Versamark watermark ink or embossing ink and push that through the stencil. And then for the embossing powder, I'm using Lindy's Midnight Teal, which is a really pretty color. It shines really pretty in the light. But as you can see on there, you can see the edges from the edge of the stencil, and I didn't really like that. And usually when I make cards, I don't know exactly what I'm doing for the whole process. I kind of do it as ideas come to me when I'm making the card, and so I wasn't really sure what I was going to do after this, and so I didn't know if this was going to show, basically. And so I tried to get rid of some of those edges by using a brush and just wiping that embossing powder off. And then I'm going to go ahead and heat that powder up and melt it. It is really pretty. I bought these from Amazon quite a while ago, and I don't hardly use them at all. And so I thought I'd go ahead and get that powder out. And then I'm using some modeling paste, and I have used this stencil from my stash, and I'm just putting a little bit of modeling paste around the card to get some of those snowflakes. And then, because I don't want to wait for it to dry, I am using my heat tool, and what this is going to do is it's going to puff up that paste and give it a little more of a 3D look or a little bit of texture, but a lot of times it will kind of flatten back out or sink back down a little bit, but you'll still have that texture. So once that is dry, I'm taking some Distress ink spray in Peacock Feathers, and I'm just going to spritz that over my panel, and then I'm going to take my water bottle and I will spritz that as well. And then to give it a little bit of shine, I am using a shimmer spray, and so I'll go ahead and dry the panel first, and then I will spray the shimmer spray over that as well. And then I'm going to clean up my mess, and I'm going to take a Distress ink in the same Peacock Colors feather, and I'm just taking my brush, and I was just trying to define the line of that mask a little bit better. And so I'm just taking that and going around the edge of that mask. And then when I take the mask off, I have a little boo-boo on there where the ink or the Distress spray bled through a little bit. And so I end up covering that with a sentiment sticker. And then I'm going to take the negative portion of the mask, and it wouldn't stick real well, so which is why I placed it in my Misty, which I was going to use anyhow, but the magnets kind of help to keep that masking paper down. And so I'm going to go ahead and grab that Fairy Poem stamp and ink that up with some Versafine Black ink. And it doesn't cover the entire area, so what I end up doing is just picking it up and stamping it just by pressing it with my hand. And then for the poinsettia, I'm using some Versafine Clair in Tulip Red. And so I'm going to ink that up, and I actually ink it up and stamp it a few times to get a dark red color on that. And then I'm going to add some color inside of that masked area, and I'm using a Distress ink in Weathered Wood, which is a gray color. And so I'm going to take my blending brush and just blend through the mask to cover that entire area. But when I take the mask off, I have a little white line, and I don't think I meant to do that at all. And so I didn't want to leave it. I think it stands out a little bit too much. And so what I did was I took a Caron brush marker in the color red, and I'm just outlining around that masked area. And then I'm going to take a paintbrush and dip that in water and just kind of move that red so that it kind of looks like it's glowing a little bit. And I go over with that red marker twice and then blend that out twice to get it as dark as I wanted it. And then I'm going to take a black Posca pen and add an outline around that mask. And then I'm going to splatter, of course, with a little bit of the Starry Nights watercolors. And I'm going to go ahead and use the white metallic watercolor. I'll adhere this to a 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 white piece of cardstock. I added some sequins as well as a few of those Tim Holtz sentiment stickers, and that will finish off my card today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did like this video or find it informative, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. As always, I really do thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to spend with me. I love to hear from you. I don't always have a chance to answer the comments, but I definitely do read them. So if you'd like to leave a comment below, I would absolutely love that. And that is it for me. Thanks so much again, and I hope to catch you next time.